I do, folks. How you doing? You know, it's a quick one. Well, it may be, it may not be. I keep getting cut off. I apologise for keep getting cut off at the end of the videos. It does seem to be just as I'm about to call it anyway. And I've looked into it, and it's something to do with fkry, to do with the licensing and Microsoft owning the fucking rights to something or other. And the bottom line is, these memory cards that we get, they're locked into 30 minutes or something, and then they start a new file. So that's why they keep getting cut off. The solution is spend fucking extra money for one of these special fucking super duper SIM cards that's supposed to stop that happening. So I have, and I'm waiting for it to come. So I've addressed it. We'll see where it goes and what happens. But for now, what we're going to talk about, let's wait for this car to come past. Ooh. What we're going to talk about, let's see. Bullshit, shall we talk about more bullshit? And isn't there some bullshit goes on? I've got to go back into the Floyd thing, because it's actually quite fucking bizarre. You've got evidence out there now, it's bollocks. So much evidence, it's bollocks. Nobody can surely be going on about it, can they? But protests are still going on about it. What's that all about? So if there's still protests going on about it, but the evidence is out that it's a load of bollocks, why is they protesting? Maybe because the protests are being created. I heard a little snippet of our own florist, Boris. He was saying, protest peacefully for George Floyd. Really? Your Prime Minister is calling for you to go and protest? Saying peacefully at the end of it, but nonetheless telling you to go and protest for George Floyd, which is a false flag, which is creating riots, and they want you out there so the other groups can come, and it descends into riots. They've brought the Tommy Robinson fucking bullshit back up again. I don't give a fuck who follows the puppet, but he is, and he's being brought in now to cause the riots with the Black Lives Matter. And there's going to be riots, and you're being called to go out there and protest peacefully. You can't see it. Why is anybody buying into this? I don't know. Why would you go out to protest if you know the reason for the protest? First of all, has no bearing on your country, and secondly, you know the government are calling for you to do it. You know they want you to do it. You know the agenda calls for martial law at the end. How do they get martial law? Riots, maybe. But you know this. I'm sure you already know this. So why would anybody go out and riot? Now I'm going to make a link here, and I've got a few friends that are going to be pissed off, and I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. It's food for thought. I don't want to be pissing my mates off all the time, but sometimes I have to, because I need to drop this food for thought. They're calling for you to go and riot and kick off. Who are the ones that go and protest? Now, what are their followings? And I come back to the law slightly. Now here's where it's going to get a little bit dicey for my mates, because I've got quite a few mates that go along with lawful rebellion, go along with Magna Carta, and go along with protesting. Now I'm sorry, but that seems to be how it goes. Those on that side seem to always be calling for civil unrest of some sort, whether they're talking about peaceful protests, but they're not really, or lynching the puppets, who are puppets. They always want to lynch the next Prime Minister, and then the next Prime Minister, and then the next Prime Minister, and you go down the line wanting to lynch Prime Ministers, but they're puppets. They don't make these rules, they don't cause these twists and turns, they're just the ones telling you, they're just the face of the corporation. So anyway, yeah, unfortunately, and it is sad, it's sad to see, because I see good folks getting wrapped up with these organisations that call for you to follow the lawful rebellion such and Magna Carta, which on paper all looks great, but I'm sorry, it's not doing the trick. As much as the next great hope always thinks that it will do, and the next time round, it's been going round and round and round and round and round. The only way I've seen create actual solutions is standing as living flesh and blood sovereign man or woman. But there are the exceptions with people like David DeSuri, who stands in the legal realm but kicks their arse. David Barrowmore, he also stands in the legal realm and kicks their arse. There are a few that can do that, but as a whole, when you start following the groups of these lawful rebellions and the ones screaming Magna Carta, unfortunately they do to me seem like the same ones that are going on all the protests. And it doesn't matter what the protest is, as long as there's a protest. It's sad, it is a real shame to see when you know that the protests are about false flags and manipulation. So why can't they see, not that I'm not saying they're manipulating, unfortunately I'm saying they've been manipulated. It's easier to fool somebody than to make them believe they've been fooled. And I know they're not going to like that, but that is the fact of what's going on. They are the ones that are pulled into these peaceful demonstrations, and these peaceful demonstrations always descend into fucking hell, which gives the police the rights to come in beating the fuck out, not the right, but the nod from their superiors, but it gives them that to come in and kick the hell out of you all. Then everybody's screaming that's disgusting, and you think it's furthering it because they're doing this shit and showing themselves, but no, because the sheep think you're a bunch of idiots who deserve beating. And unfortunately that is how it comes across. That's how they sell it to the sheep, and that's how the sheep buy everything they fucking sell. I'm not saying you do deserve beating, you absolutely don't, and you're damn right in it all being fucking tyranny, but unfortunately these protests, every fucking protest that happens, you know, if an impromptu protest started off, they would have police en masse there in a huge show of force, corral you and fucking push you down and stop it, fucking spray you with water, fucking do anything they want. But what they can do instead is hold these specific ones about fakery, just fucking absolute bullshit that isn't even to do with our fucking country, but there's a protest, so I'm going to this because it's a protest, and if it's a protest I want to be there to show I don't like what's going on in this country. Well, that's absolutely fucking madness, because they can create these protests and they're manipulating you, they're twisting and turning you to make you do whatever they want you to do, whatever fits their agenda. You got to be able to see it, you got to be able to see it. You fall for this shit, but there is so much evidence. Even that old man that got pushed down, which was to further the riots, he got pushed down. The pictures are all out there now, the blow-up pictures. You can see the pipe spraying the blood, and it's all coming down the back of his head, yet when he stands up afterwards there's no blood on the back of his head, and it's like, come on people, look what they're doing. They're creating fucking hell in America, and they are all falling for it. I'm not saying every single one, but most are fucking falling for it. Realise who you are and who they are and what they're doing to you, for fuck's sake. Every twist and turn, and it seems at face value that you're really doing the right thing. It really does. I get it. You're out there, you're doing something, you're saying this is fucking wrong, but what is wrong? The event that you're protesting was fake. You've got them pissing themselves, because the real shit that they deserve stringing up for is getting left absolutely alone, because some fella in America supposedly got killed by a cop. How many people get killed by cops on a daily basis for real in America without this shit happening? And then the fake ones, this shit happens for. And then worldwide, this shit's going to happen absolutely worldwide, because a single event out of thousands of those events happened in America, and the press and the fucking mainstream narrative and your own Prime Minister here in England tells you to protest peacefully. Come fucking on, people. I know you want to protest, I know you want to stand up for shit, and I know you want to kick off, It's what they fucking want. And I'd love to be there swinging a fucking sledgehammer at the fucking at Westminster, banging the fucking doors down to go in to string the treasonous fucks up, because hanging is still a punishment for treason. And they do deserve hanging, they do deserve it. Not many folks do, but look what they're doing to people. But they're subjugating you by subjugation, and this is what you need to realise. Everything else is distraction. Everything else is distraction. Everything. As good as it sounds for you, and as much as you feel that you're doing something, you're being riled into a frenzy so they can create order out of chaos. That is fact of what's happening. That's the fact of what's happening. You've got to get off these fucking bandwagons. Come on. What was it the other day? Something's supposed to happen on the fucking 8th. I can't even fucking remember now. I don't pay attention to them. Some fucking world-changing things coming in on the 8th. The 8th come and went. Come on, folks. You'll get a new date soon and you'll pin your hopes on that fucker. They've just got you bouncing from date to date to date while they're destroying your fucking lives and taking your freedoms away. And while you're concentrating on your Magna Cartas, I'm ever so sorry for my friends that are fucking there, but while they've got you concentrating on that, you're missing the whole point. You're living flesh and blood, man. This is contract. It's all contract. Everything is contract. Revoke your fucking contracts. Not go into lawful rebellion, because then you're a citizen, and as a citizen you're a slave. You can't go into lawful rebellion because you're in slavery. You're admitting your slavery by admitting your citizenship by invoking fucking lawful rebellion. You're going after Magna Carta, which was signed under duress with King John with a knife at his fucking throat. It was ab initio, null and void. The minute it was signed, it meant for fuck all. And courts even rule on that. And I'm not saying the courts are true. The courts do make a ruling on that, so abide by it. So the very fact you're going for it isn't going to work, because the courts themselves that you're going to hope will uphold this, they already said no. So whatever you think to it, realise this is trust law. It's commerce. It's commercial law. It's simple. You are man. You're not that legal fiction. And most of you following all that absolutely know about the birth certificate fraud. You know it's a bond. You know that name on there isn't you. You know it isn't you. All you've got to do is create the separation between that fictional you and the real you. They work on the fictional you. You just got to make them realise and recognise that you're not that fucking fiction. And it's not hard to do. Most of the folks that are into the lawful rebellion and the Magna Carta things, they've got enough information there. You've got enough information just to realise who you are in this trust relationship and who they are in the trust relationship, and that there is a trust relationship. As there a trust relationship, you're the beneficiary. It isn't really all about knowledge. Obviously you have to have some knowledge. You must have some knowledge. But it really isn't all about knowing everything. People ask me now to teach them. I can't. And I think I've realised why I can't. First of all, they say, who shall I watch that's trustworthy? I don't trust anybody. I don't trust any fucker. Especially if you've got thousands of viewers and thousands of subscribers and shit. Not a fucking chance do I trust you. But it doesn't mean you're not giving information out, but you're giving bullshit out as well. So if I said trust that one, you're going to go and watch it and you're going to believe all the bullshit as well. It don't work that way. What's developed with me, and this is I suppose why it's really easy for me, over the years I've watched all sorts of everything, but I've learned to distinguish truth from bullshit. And I've learned to distinguish how they lie and why they lie. And I don't think that's anything I can teach. That's something that comes with experience. I'd say watch everything, digest everything, don't take anything to heart at all. If you watch, a lot of the things I learned to start off with was free man on the land stuff. Don't follow free man on the land in any way, shape or form. I think actually their fucking Facebook group's still attached to my Facebook group. I don't know, I don't look what my past groups were. But I'm not free man on the land, I don't follow it at all. But the information within, there's some golden information. but the movement itself is bastardized, and it was infiltrated from the very day it actually started. Doesn't mean they don't give great information out. It means they use that great information to guide you down a wrong road. And that's what happens with a lot of these things. So what I would advise anybody who wants to learn this, and truly wants to learn, they say what I know, but we all know different things, and you get value from everybody. But I just know a lot of different things, but the only way I apply it, and literally the only way I apply any of my knowledge whatsoever, is through me being the living man and the beneficiary of the trust. I'm not that trustee, I am not that legal fiction, and I will never, ever, 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 ever give that full name out like that. I will not do that. That is not me, that's fraud. That's fraud, that's claiming you're somebody you're not. It is fraud, and that's why you're in dishonour as soon as you claim that name. So when you're going down claiming lawful rebellion and such like, you've already claimed the name. You're already in dishonour, you're committing fraud. The reason they don't do you for fraud is because it'd give the game away. But the fact that they don't hear you and they don't give a flying fuck what you've got to say is because you're committing a crime in the first place. You're a scumbag in their eyes, you're a criminal, you're committing fraud. Think about it, folks. This is why all the information, absolutely golden information, with lawful rebellion, read the documents, digest the information. Magna Carta, read it, digest the information, but just stand on your information and your knowledge as a living flesh and blood woman or man. You're sovereign. Claim your sovereignty. Not even claim it, acknowledge it yourself. Because the wins that I've had, and it's vast, almost everything I've ever done I've won with. But the reason isn't all about the knowledge. Yes, you have the knowledge, but you know it. You know this. You can't be shaken from something you know. If you're asked if you're man or woman, you know. I know there's some ones that would be questioning it and probably giving false answers, ambiguous answers, but the normal folk, or as normal as we get, they know absolute. I'm a man, I know I'm a fucking man. There's never a million years I'm ever going to make the mistake of saying I'm a woman. I'm never going to admit to being a woman. I'm not going to admit to it because I'm a fucking man. I can't be shook on that. And that's the exact same thing with your knowledge. You need to know that you live in your flesh and blood and you're not their legal fiction. You're not. You're just not. It's a bond. It's a bond and a binding contract. As soon as you say the fucking name, you're committing fraud as soon as you say it. Don't put them two names together. Ever. Don't ever put them two names together. And any movement that calls for you to do such, it's flawed from the beginning. And like I says to you on yesterday's video, when the very basis of where whatever you're following started from is wrong, or a lie in most cases, but let's just say wrong, everything else that follows, no matter how good it sounds, no matter how you can see it in law, doesn't apply to the basis, so it makes it all wrong. It knocks it all out of wonk. Now, as it knocks it out of wonk, a court can get away with not hearing it, and this is why people lose, and they come out of there saying, I should have fucking won, I don't know how they fucking done this, but the judges found in favour. Of course, because you was in dishonour in the first place. They didn't hear you, they didn't want to hear you, but they do go along with the masquerade and the theatre, because if they shut you down too soon and didn't go along with the theatrics, everybody would know it's fake, everybody would know it's bullshit, nobody would have any faith in it. But they need the sheep to have the faith in it. So it's all theatre. This is why it's all theatre. Anyway, folks, that's a little one there for you. It was just a quick one for me, and I'm gonna get gone before it cuts off short. I just wanted to talk about the fakery really, but I suppose I've gone a bit into law as well, so I know there's a few that are calling for that, but I have to be careful when I start talking about law, because it invokes a lot of activity to my phone and to my computer and messages and such like, and I'm not in the health to deal with it all at the moment, so just I'll give the snippets where I can, but just take on board, but listen to everybody, I don't ever say don't listen to people. I think there's a lot of people full of shit out there. There's a lot of people just plain wrong out there, and there's a lot of people that are paid fucking shills out there. But just don't buy into anybody. Just don't buy into anyone in particular. Don't buy into them at all. Don't fall in love with anybody that talks. Don't fucking do that. I see these people they'd kill for these fucking people that they follow. I'm just somebody on the end of here. I know I've got some friends, but I won't ask you to kill for me. But there are some that have real fans, and they are fanatical. And when you've got fans, who has fans? Theatre. So don't buy into it. Don't follow people to that degree. Listen to people. Follow them as in like subscribe or whatever they do, and they have you listening to all the videos. Listen to it, dissect it. It's got to stand as truth and resonate with yourself, of course. But if you're buying into something, quite a lot resonates with you that won't be, because the lineage of paperwork that they can back up with all that they say is absolutely bang on. And it was bang on, like I'll say, from the Magna Carta. It was ab initio the minute it was fucking signed. But the reality is, they still carry on with it. They still carry on with it. Then they can use it when it suits, and they can not when it doesn't. And then through history, it just sits there for a while, and it comes in very handy later on, as it does now, as a distraction to keep you from you are the power. You are the power. You are the authority in your life. Who are these people trying to intervene in your life? Who are they making these secret contracts that you didn't want, and you don't want? Yet you're gonna allow these contracts to continue through your acquiescence or through belligerence. A lot of the times it's belligerence. Stand up. No, I invoke this and I invoke that, but that doesn't mean anything to them. So what have you actually done? You just stood up shouting fuck you, really. And to them, that's just belligerence. That's why it doesn't work. You'll never get anywhere being belligerent. Conditionally accept their offer. Proof of claim. You live in flesh and blood. Do they have any authority over a living flesh and blood? Or are they just after the legal fiction? That's that dead entity, the bond, the corporate piece of paper, which can't answer, because that's not you, and you're the beneficiary to. So crack on, set your terms. But anyway, I hope I've got through to some folk. It is what it is. Hey, I don't fall out with those that are following Magna Carta. I know they're trying to do what they're trying to do. I don't fall out with those that invoking Article 62 and it's Article 61. That's I fucking clued up I am on it. I don't fall out with them. They just do what they do. They have knowledge, and I can have a conversation with them, and we can give each other knowledge, and I think we should. I'd like them to realise what's really going on and come onto the proper path, as one of them mates would say, come into the light. Unfortunately, some people have just got a candle as opposed to natural light going on, and it's casting shadows. I know everybody's bought into what they do. Unfortunately, I can't do nothing about that. I can't tell somebody to get the fuck out of what they're doing and what they believe in. I can just try and enlighten them. If they don't hear me, they don't hear me, and they carry on doing what they're doing. They carry on doing what they're doing. Like I say, they still have value. They still learn so much and pass on so much knowledge. It's just the implementation that's different. It's just the implementation. If you alter your implementation, you'll find life a lot easier. A lot easier. You're not that dead entity legal fiction. You don't have to comply. You don't have to do that shit. I've been living free for quite some time, and I don't have any fucking issues, but my only fucking issues are the ones I bring on myself trying to fucking help others. At the end of the day, I can but try. I'll lead you to water. I did say I was going, didn't I? I am going just before it cuts off. Anyway, folks, look after yourself. Like I say, I hope eventually I'll get through to some, but I just keep planting the seeds and hope that one day you guys that are following the wrong paths will just realise how easy this could be if you stop all the fuss and stopped letting others distract you into fucking protests. It's a mug's game, protesting is, always has been. It's their game. It's same as a petition. You're just telling them what they want to know. I wonder how close to a real kick-off they are. I don't know. Let's have a petition and see what they all think. I wonder if they are going to kick off. What do you think? Would they kick off? Well, I don't know. Let's have a protest. We'll have the police ready to kick the fuck out of them if they do and knock them down so they realise they're not going to get away with it. And the rest of the sheep won't dare come into it then because they've watched all these bloody fuckers and they're standing there going, meh, deserved it, meh, shouldn't have done this then, meh, shouldn't have done that. All they've got to do is fake some shit. You see that that woman copper on a police horse run into a fucking a telegraph pole, traffic light or whatever it was. I'm sorry, but she was there to run into people with her horse, and would she have trampled on people? I'm sure she would. I know they're playing it as somebody fired a projectile into the fucking thing, really, and they've got a picture of somebody standing there. Yeah, they do that shit. Could it be a stunt woman? They do it for Hollywood every day. I'm not saying that is. I genuinely don't know. It did get a bit of a chuckle. I don't personally wish any harm on anybody, but these people do wish harm on us, and they will put harm on us. So if they accidentally injure themselves, I'm going to chuckle. I don't think I'll be laughing at the deaths because I don't think they deserve death. But a bloody nose or whatever they get is what it is. They'll bloody our noses without thinking, won't they? Got no respect for that uniform at all, at all. Unfortunately, a very small portion of what's in that uniform are folks that have just got suckered into it and think that they're doing right. They genuinely do think they're doing right, and they're just brain fucked into it. But the vast majority, they know. Even if not fully, they know. And they know when they're throwing people onto the ground. I mean, what is that anyway? What is the need to put somebody on the floor? Why is there a need to be on the floor? It's absolute bullshit, and it is just to degrade you and to bring in your submissive attitude. But I'm going to respect these that do that. But it is the uniform, it's the corporation. Hopefully one day the good ones will realise, and the bad ones will get caught in a big crowd of folks that don't just put up and watch this shit and take their phones out and put the cameras on. I truly believe the ones that are beating people need to be stopped by all means necessary by every single one that stood around watching. Put your fucking phones away. That shit don't need being recorded. It needs to be stopped by any means necessary. They're using violence against living flesh and blood men and women that don't realise that they're being subjugated by fucking subjugation into this corporate world for some bullshit contract that they have no idea exists that allows them to kick the fuck out of them. And then they go through all the process of complaining just to have it overlooked and washed over. Come on, folks. Wake up to the game. Wake up to the game. You're just not that legal fiction. Stop accepting you are. Anyway, folks, that's me done. I am going. Ta-da.